Hi, it's Rob from Mining International. I wanted to do this video just to outline how a CV should be formatted, or a CV formatted from my view, and how I think a CV should be set out. People have different ways in which they want to set out a CV, but I just wanted to do this video just to show you how I would expect a CV to be sent to me if I was assessing their details for a job. So it really needs to be sort of basic. I would say 2 to 3 pages long. It is only a snapshot of your career. It is sort of only 10% of the recruitment process. So it just needs to be pretty concise, straight to the point. Needs to get the reader's attention, or whoever's reading this CV needs to grab their attention. They're probably only going to have 5-10 seconds maybe just to glance over that CV, so it needs to stand out. They'll be looking for things in particular, so those things need to really stand out. So if this is a bit of a CV, I'm gonna sort of go over and how I think it should be laid out. So first of all, obviously you have your contact details. You can either put it to one side or in the middle, so you have all your contact details. This should obviously include your name, address, all your contact details, so whether that's email address, all email addresses, phone numbers, etc. Also, I would add any social media platforms that you're on, so whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or even if you have your own website. I think those details can be added as well. Also, you might want to, I recruit in the expatriate industry, so if I think you should put your nationality on there as well. I think a date of birth should also be added, and also some other things. I sometimes see people put driving license details on there. Also your family, whether you're single, whether you have a family with children, that can be put on there. There's no harm in putting those details on there. So once you've obviously filled out your contact details, I think then you should have a capability statement. So again, this should be I can't spell capability. So a capability statement should be perhaps a paragraph. So this paragraph, say 2 or 3 lines, 4 lines, probably not more than that. That should be a paragraph around maybe your career goal, maybe some major achievements that you've actually achieved within your roles or career, or it can be something around what you can offer a company, so it's your unique selling point. So that could go underneath all your contact details, your capability statement, like so. Underneath that, I would then have education. So education, which should be obviously under another heading. The education part should be 3 or 4 different qualifications, your highest qualifications. So whether that's a degree, a master's, PhD, it could be a trade, could be diplomas, etc. So how you would set that out again is put the qualification. Hopefully you can read my writing. So you put the qualification, you put where you got that qualification from, and then probably this site, the date in which you done that qualification, started it and completed it. So so I'm not too good at writing on flip charts, and I can see that looking into the video it's not necessarily straight, but if you can get the point, if you can sort of just get the point of how it should be laid out, or how I expect CVs to be laid out, I'm just giving you some hints as to how you should do that. So obviously list your qualifications. Obviously quite a few candidates have a lot of other courses that you've done. I think that should be added at the bottom, not under the education part. And this should only be your top qualifications. So like I said, a degree, diploma, masters, etc., MBQs, those should be under the education. Then the next category should be your actual work experience. So And again, how that should be set out. People who have longer CVs obviously write a lot of, or basically write all their jobs down. So that could be over a 30-year period. Anyone reading a CV won't necessarily go into detail right through your actual CV from, say, 30 years ago. What they'll probably look at is the last 10 years. For me, certainly, I'll look over the last 5 to 10 years. I won't necessarily look beyond that. If I do, I'll just be glancing over it, but not actually going into reading all the details as to what you've done. I will generally get an idea of where you started and to where you are today. So it's a very quick glance over it that I would actually look at. But what the last 4 or 5 jobs is probably where you need to put a lot more detail in. So how you again set that out is you would put the company that you work for. You then obviously put the job title and then you may put the date from which you started and finished. And again, as you can see how I'm laying it out, dates all match up, headings all match up. So again, this is how I believe a CV should be set out. You can actually see it quite clearly. So the date's already in one line, all the information there's on another line. So again, it should all be set out the same. So under each job, I would say you put 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 bullet points as to what you actually did. Well, I suppose what your main responsibilities are. So these need to be pretty condensed. What you can also include is any achievements. So anything where you've achieved, and I suppose it could be something around numerical figures, because that's measurable. So it could be, if you're looking at maintenance, for instance, it could be someone achieved X amount of percent availability on equipment. Also within that is how you achieve that, what you actually did. So again, it should be a little bit more detailed. There's 4 or 5 bullet points. I would say no longer than 6, 7 lines that you should cover all this cover this on. So it's just a quick snapshot, and it shows your capabilities, what you were responsible for, what you achieved, and it should be set out, I would say, like that. There is alternatives. You can put 4 or 5 different bullet points as to your recommendations, and then in the appendix you could have an appendix where you said, at this particular job, this is what I achieved, and maybe have 4 or 5 achievements underneath your work experience to show what you have actually achieved throughout your career. And again, it's more recent. People don't necessarily want to know what you achieved 15 years ago. It's more current. It needs to be more current. So I would do this for the last 4 or 5 jobs. If your 4 or 5 jobs covers your whole 30 years, that's fine. If you've changed jobs every year, that's only going to go 5 years back. You probably want to look at least 10 years where you would set this out. As you go further down, maybe the 4th, 5th, 6th job, you might only want to put 2 or 3 bullet points. Like I said, the CV should really be covering about 2 pages, 3 at the very maximum. So what you don't want to do is bunch a lot of information in one go, so it's really hard to spot what you're actually looking for. If you set it out quite clearly, it's very readable, and people can pick up the actual attributes they're trying to look for. So after you've obviously done your work experience, I would then, like I said, maybe look at a separate heading where you would have your achievements. So this can be included in, again, you might have a few bullet points. This can either be included within each of the jobs that you've done, each role that you played. You might want to put a major achievement there, or you can stack it at the end after your work experience. Other things you can put in there, hobbies. I don't see that why there's no reason why you can't put your hobbies in there. Again, it might show if again, depending on the person that's reviewing the CV, they may look at that. They may then come to their own conclusions around what you've done, what kind of hobbies you're into. Again, any achievements that you may have made outside of work, I think again that's important. You might want to put that there or make a separate heading as well. Just again, bullet points it's easy to read, easy to pick up, so everything needs to be concise. You also may want to put some courses, extra courses that you've done. This could be courses in your own time. This could be work-related courses. Again, you might want to put some courses in there. I wouldn't put a whole page. I sometimes see people putting every course that they've done. These could be one-day courses. I don't think that's really necessary in a CV. It needs to be courses that you've done over a couple of days, maybe over a couple of days or over a couple of months or part of a year. That's not in your education, which is right at the beginning of your CV. And lastly, I would put references. Again, references is another topic. Sometimes it's entirely up to you. You might want to put a few references in there, or you may want to just put references upon request. Again, either there isn't a right or wrong around that. So hopefully I've sort of outlined how a CV should be set out. Obviously, my writing isn't too good, so don't necessarily just look at what I've written. But I think one point to note is the actual setting out of it, with the dates there and the titles there on that side, and the bullet point format. I think that's really important because that's easy to see if someone's going to read your CV. So hopefully that's helped. This is obviously going onto YouTube, so if you can like and share the CV, share the video, that'd be appreciated. If you've got any other comments, please put them below, or even email me if you need any help with CV. I can potentially point you in the right direction. You can email myself at rob@mining-international.org. So hopefully you found that useful. Please let me know. And yeah, good luck with CV, writing your CV and formatting it.